David Leon and his brother-in-law Pete have brought cuisine from the streets of Greece to the streets of the Lowcountry with My Big Fat Greek Trailer, which you can see on Coleman Blvd in Mount Pleasant. Today, I talked with the co-owners of My Big Fat Greek Trailer, David and Pete, for this edition of Quintin's Close-Ups. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my YouTube channel and like Quintin's Close-Ups on Facebook. David Leon and Pete, welcome to Quintin's Close-Ups.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, you're very welcome. Obviously, you guys are the co-owners of My Big Fat Greek Trailer, which I stopped by yesterday on Coleman.
Yeah, how was it, by the way?
That was good. Yes, I went down the street to Ben Sawyer and ate it before I had to go back to work. That was amazing, man. That was good pork.
Awesome.
Good gyro. I really do appreciate that.
Good stuff, right? Yep.
As a matter of fact, I know that you all are just a small business of two guys, one Greek, one American, who care about the Greek culture and cuisine. But what do you understand more about the culture and cuisine of Greek food now that you have your own business?
You want to start, Pete?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Greece. My parents came here in originally in 1997. They left for a couple years. They came back in 2001. They got all their paperwork done to be here legally and whatnot. They started from nothing. They had diners and pizza shops in Pennsylvania. We've been down here for about 3.5 years now. We realized there was no Greek food down here that was authentic. Everyone does Greek food, either Mediterranean style or just put the word Greek in front of it and sells. So we started going around to different places, trying different Greek food, and nothing was original to Greece. So me and David had the idea, like we said, okay, we got to start, build our brand, our name out there with My Big Fat Greek Trailer and do authentic Greek street food, which there's none of it around here. Everyone thinks that Greeks eat lamb with everything, but we don't. We usually just eat lamb on a special occasion, holidays or a name day, Easter, on a big spit. But lamb is too expensive to begin with to put it in a gyro. So if you go to Greece, you'll always get pork or shaved chicken on a gyro. We saw that no one around here was doing that, so we decided, hey, let's find these meats, let's get it started, and start making Greek street food.
How did you all find those meats?
So when we first started, it was a hassle. We had called over 40 different companies trying to find these meats.
Nobody really produces it because it's not that heavily used of a meat, because all of the Greek places went to the beef and lamb, and that was the first hill that we had to get over, was trying to find a producer for our meats, because in Greece you are able, a lot of the mom and pop shops, they'll make their own. So they'll hand stack it every day or the day before for that service. And we thought about doing it and we wanted to do it, but it's a very time consuming process. And with just a trailer, we didn't want to do that. So we took the route of trying to find a producer of the meats, and Pete was fortunately enough, his parents were the ones that had a contact, and it was a huge hill.
Oh my.
You want to just explain what we were doing?
Yeah, the company that we get our meats from is based out of Greece, but they have distributions and all over the world.
Wow.
And we were lucky enough that they had one here in New Jersey, which we're looking forward to going and touring their facility to see how they hand stack all these meats, how they, marinate them all and whatnot. But we were lucky enough to actually find them here in the States, and there's only one in the whole United States, and that's in New Jersey. So they're based out of Greece. They're Greek owners. They get their meats and they stack them up the same exact way they do in Greece, and we were lucky enough to be able to find them and get our meat shipped down here.
When we first opened, we didn't have the capital to place large orders. So this company only it's a light freight is what it is. So no matter how much product you put on a pallet, you pay for one pallet to be transferred from New Jersey to wherever it needs to go. And that shipping cost was just too much for us at the time of opening. And we asked them, we're like, hey, do you have anybody in the South that would be able to kind of be a middleman for us till we, get our feet underneath us? And there was one person who was also using them, and they were out of Atlanta. So you saw the van that we have. We were driving that from here to Atlanta, picking up anywhere from 10 to 20 cones and driving back. That would last us maybe a month and a half. Now we're doing much more. But one example of what we had to go through when we first opened was we shut down for a service for dinner, used our last cone. We had a lunch the next day, no meat. So we traveled to Atlanta, slept in his parking lot for an hour until we showed up and got the product, and then came back and worked a service. So it was a long time. We found out really early if we wanted to stay in the business and if we had the passion for this.
Where is your passion now?
It's burning. I think what keeps us going is when people walk up and they look at our menu and they go, no beef and lamb. We're like, oh, we got to go over it again. All right, well, here we go. So this is how we do it in Greece, because that was and it still really is one of our biggest obstacles to go forward with our business is educating the public on what really is done in Greece. Quick fact for you, 60% of Americans don't own a passport. So that's over 150 million people that have never left this country. So their perspective on what Greece is as a country, the cuisine, the culture is what they see on TV and what they eat at restaurants. So if a restaurant is portraying something to be quote unquote Greek and it's really not Greek, then they're going to go into something that really is Greek, like us, and be confused because what we're trying to sell is something that's different than what they have been told previously is Greek. So that's really been one of another uphill battle that we've been facing. And that's really the passion for us, at least for me, is trying to educate the general, because I'm the American and I've been to Greece twice now. It doesn't upset me when people come up and they're like, and they don't understand that this is how pork or how a Greek gyro is supposed to be, is with pork. But it gives me that drive to make sure that everybody understands that this is how it is in Greece.
And what sells it is when we ask them to sample it.
Right.
So when we show them the meats behind us, we're like, oh, do you see the rotisserie? You see the 100 layers of pork belly,
right?
The 100 layers of chicken stacked up. And every time it gets crispy, we shave it off.
Right. We
explain to them, here, you want to try it out before you even buy it. They try it out and their face just gets excited. We can just tell like, oh, okay, they want this, Then we have the other people that are cultured enough that have been to Greece. They've tried their food. They know that the original Greek gyro is served with pork and not lamb. And then we have a huge following now of Greeks that come to us. So we've had at least over 200 Greeks that come to us.
Wow.
Frequently. We have Greeks that come to us every single week just to get food from us. Because they know if they close their eyes and it takes them back to Greece.
Yes.
It's the same exact way it's done.
And let me ask you this. You talked about those cones. How many cones do you have in total now?
So when we first started, we only had a walk-in freezer at our commissary kitchen and a walk-in cooler. So that was the other thing. When we first started, like he said, we didn't have the capital to be able to purchase, because if you buy 40 pounds of meat or 2,500 pounds of meat, the shipping cost was the same. So of course we didn't have the capital. We also didn't have the space to be able to hold pounds of meat as well. So as we grew, we had that walk-in freezer, walk-in cooler, but we ended up buying, I think now we're at a total about 4 8-foot chest freezers that we have to be able to store 2,500 pounds of meat. Because every time we order, we don't get about 10 cones at a time. We get 50 cones of pork, 50 cones of chicken, and we're able to store that now,
So on average, we go through 2, 3.
At least a pork a day.
We go through about a pork a day, and then for a week it will be anywhere from 2 to 3 cones of chicken, which one cone is 40 pounds, And then we'll go through anywhere from, depending on the services, anywhere from 4 to 6 cones of pork a week. And so that we're going through in a week what we were going through in sometimes probably 3 to 4 weeks when we first opened. So the business is really gaining traction, and the public is really starting to be receptive of the Greek gyro.
Yes, indeed. And where exactly are you gaining that traction?
You know, in all honesty, I believe, my personal belief is word of mouth. You can spend as much money on marketing as you want, but when you have a friend or a neighbor who will go out of their way to tell you, like, hey, go check out this Greek truck down the road, their food's really good. Like, that to me is worth an infinity amount more than any amount of marketing that you can spend. It's truthful, it's reliable. When you keep hearing certain names, for us, when we have people come up, when we don't recognize somebody, we'll always try to ask them, like, oh, hey, how'd you find out about us? A lot of people, especially on Coleman, they say, oh, I was driving by and wanted to stop. But a lot of people really mention, oh, you know, my neighbor mentioned you guys and said I really needed to try you out. So for us, and especially since we've been parking in one spot for 2 days a week, it's been a lot easier for people who mention us to say, hey, yeah, they're always down the street at Coleman every Thursday and Friday. So rather than a lot of food trucks in the area where you're going spot to spot, place to place, and you're really not very consistent, it's harder to track them down. So when COVID happened, that's when we kind of readjusted some things and became a little bit of a semi-permanent in the spot that we park at on Coleman. And that's really been the good traction for us, is that spot.
As a matter of, oh, go for it. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You're good. Go ahead.
Oh, no, as a matter of fact, I was going to say, I know David told me yesterday that you all have been in that particular spot for at least, 2 years now?
A year now.
Wow.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference about that spot from a year ago to right now?
A lot. Go ahead, David. You're good.
Okay.
So when we first started parking there, it was more or less out of demand and need, right? So we were a business and we needed people to serve. And the people on Coleman and the old village area,
Yes.
They needed something to eat. Because when COVID happened, a lot of those restaurants on Coleman shut down, weren't even doing to go. So a lot of the people of Old Village had nowhere to go to eat if they wanted to go out. The gallery, the White Gallery, was closed due to COVID. They weren't, they weren't opening up or anything. And we had done an event with him prior. So we asked him, like, hey, could we utilize your property a little bit to serve the neighborhood over there? So when we first started, where you saw us,
Yes.
we were actually on the opposite side where the new restaurant Ty's Roadside is.
Right.
And we were serving from that side, and we had a lot more visibility from certain ways. But as time went on and we kind of adjusted where we were, we found a good spot in the home over there on the side. And it's an eye catcher. So when you're going down towards Sullivan's, and you see that pop of blue right there with the flag and everything, it's sad to say, but we almost see a lot of accidents from people trying to swerve and get over to us. But it's been really good.
And matter of fact,
good. In comparison to what you were saying about how it's different from how we started, when we first started our business 2 years ago, we were working 7 days a week, doing doubles every single day. So waking up around 7:30, 8 o'clock, going to the kitchen, getting shopping done, putting gas, filling propane, doing our prep, hooking up, going to a lunch event, working from 11 to 1:30, 2 o'clock at a lunch event, and then going back to the kitchen, finishing whatever prep we needed, and then going back to dinner again. So we'd get home probably around 9, 10 o'clock. By the time we get to the kitchen, start cleaning up, unpacking, load up, going home. So we were working every single day pretty much when we first started, comparing to how we are now. We have 2 days dedicated at our Coleman spot. Mondays we use as our prep day. Now we are fortunate enough to have Saturday, Sundays off, unless there's a major event going on, which COVID happened, so we don't have too many major events going on in festivals. And then we utilize Tuesdays and Wednesdays for either a good lunch spot and a neighborhood that we're able to go to.
And what are those neighborhoods that you're going to right now?
There's a good bit. So every neighborhood, every place that we go to, it's by invitation only. So people ask us all the time, like, why don't you come to West Ashley more? Why don't you come to, Somerville more?
Right.
But we just go and set up at any location. It's someone emails us or reaches out to us via email, Facebook, Instagram, whatever. And that's how we set up a date to be able to go set up there. People think that as a food truck, we're able just to go park somewhere and just, serve out of there, which we can't, so it's by invitation only. That's it.
Yeah,
there's a lot of neighborhoods that we go to, a lot.
And that's what Dave was telling me. You know, with the whole white gallery situation, you had to been, invited and asked and whatnot.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, since we've been using Coleman kind of as an anchor, we've really been trying to grow our brand as a Mount Pleasant kind of based brand.
Okay.
So a lot of the neighborhoods that we do find ourselves going to more frequently are the Mount Pleasant neighborhoods, just because those, in all honesty, are the neighborhoods reaching out to us. We don't have too many reaching out from Somerville, West Ashley, Goose Creek, all these other areas. The majority of neighborhoods that want us are in Mount Pleasant. So when people look at our schedule, and for example, this week, every single service we have is in Mount Pleasant. And it's not by choice. It's by how the cards fall, So that's the big misconception of food trucks that the general public tend to not know is we can't just, ice cream truck roll around everywhere and stop on a corner neighborhood and open up shop. So, yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yes, exactly right. And you talk about obviously those neighborhoods that are in demand. What are their needs when it comes to your food? What exactly do they want?
They want fast, fresh food. So when we first started, neighborhoods did not want us to have walk-up orders, which was difficult transition for us because we were only a walk-up trailer. So we had to start off by, we started off by Street Food Finder, which customer at the neighborhoods would be able to go on, place an order online through Street Food Finder. But it was insane. We would get 60 orders within 15 minutes to be given to the customer, all 60 customers at a certain time. So we're like, how are we able to do 60 orders within 15 minutes so people can pick it up in a half hour or so,
Yeah.
It was insane. Like we were end up doing 200 covers at a neighborhood and we're like, what is going on?
Yes.
So we had to adjust. We eventually, Square came out with a website that we were able to start doing online ordering, which the customer now is able to go on our website, place an order, and they can either choose to pick up within 15 minutes. It's staggered. So now it's limited. So I think we get about 10 orders per 15 minutes and they can pick it up in the next 15 to 20 minutes, or they can choose their own pickup time, which now we've noticed that a lot of people like choosing their own pickup time. Before, when this all started, people were like freaking out. Like they thought we were a restaurant. So they thought we had front of the house people taking orders, bagging everything up, taking it out to the cars and all this stuff. But it was just a 3-person operation. It was me, David, and my mother in the back. So we were taking orders, cooking the food, bagging everything, waiting for the customer to come. It was just insane. So they don't realize that it's just a 3-person operation. We're not a restaurant. We're mobile. We can only have so many people in that trailer to be able to produce so much food at a certain amount of time.
Wow, amazing. And when I was talking with David yesterday, you were in the process of making my food and the food came out instantaneously. So I appreciate that as well. And I know that during your first year, a large portion of the business was serving in places of work throughout the Lowcountry for lunch. How many businesses did you serve during that particular time?
Oh, man. We were all over we were going anywhere that would take us, we were going. So we were anywhere from Gel Laboratories in West Ashley, the hospitals downtown that we still go to on the second and fourth Tuesdays. We were in business complexes in North Charleston, Remount Road.
Right.
We would go up to Aviation. We were in Thorn Research up in Somerville, Cummins, Santee Cooper. We were going anywhere and everywhere. And I think that's really where we kind of got a good foundation for our business. Was when we first opened, we wanted to get out there. We wanted to get our name out. We just didn't want to sit around and kind of let the business come to us. We brought the business to the people and really wanted to have everybody get a chance to try a real Greek Gyro.
And that was our main focus when we first started. We said, we're mobile. We're not a stationary restaurant that we have an address that people can just look us up and come find us, you know? So our main goal when we first started was every single week we had to make a schedule. We had to put it out there, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere that people can see exactly where we're going to be so they can come get our food. We've noticed a lot of food trucks, they post their schedule, not really post a schedule, they just post maybe the day of or the day before where they're going to be, which doesn't really help the customer that's craving your food to make plans for the week, you know? So our main focus was, okay, we have to make sure our customers know where we're going to be every single day of the week. And that's what we did.
And what is your focus now?
I think our focus now is just continuing to ensure that we have good quality standards, that there's always going to be a consistency with what you're getting from us. So, and that's another thing that we have a lot of people come back to us for, is they say we're very consistent. They, you know, everything on our menu is good. And that's another thing for us is we wanted to keep our menu small. We wanted to focus on the things that we do well and push that. And that's it. We didn't want to dabble into, you know, other things, because you have Mediterranean restaurants and trucks that do a lot of Greek things, but we didn't want to do anything that was Mediterranean because we didn't have any recipes or anything of this nature, because we wanted to do Greek. So hummus, for example, hummus is a more traditionally Northern African or Middle Eastern dip, whereas tzatziki that's going to be a Greek dip. And we have a lot of people come up and they ask, oh, do you have hummus? And we said, no, you know, we don't have a family recipe or anything like this to kind of go off of. So we didn't want to get involved in that. We just do what we know. And now we're really trying to grow I wouldn't say groupie, but the following, right? So we have a lot of people that really hone in on that Thursday, Friday, and they know we're there and they're there every week. Sometimes even both days, Thursdays and Fridays. So it's more or less just continuing to grow and have a good lost my train of thought. Continue to grow as a company to gain new customers, but to continue to provide the good quality to our existing customers. Because that's another thing that a lot of restaurants and a lot of food trucks end up doing is as they continue to grow, the quality goes down. So that's a crossroads that we wanted to continue, because when we first opened, we were, our ticket times weren't as quick as they are now, but we were more focused on, like, when that order came in, you know, we were shaving it right off the spit and kind of, you know, doing it per order. But as we continued to grow, we wanted to ensure that we had that quality with the speed and growth. So that's really where our focus has been as of lately.
Pete? Yeah, Pete?
What's that?
Oh, you want to elaborate on that?
He pretty much summed it up for us, actually. Yeah, he pretty much summed it up.
No worries. And I know that we just talked about the White Gallery, but you say we were blessed to have crossed paths with Joanna and Everett of White Gallery, Charleston, and they were gracious enough to offer us to serve from the property. Things went well, and starting in August, we made a residency, that is, on Thursdays and Fridays. So tell me, I know this because I saw it yesterday, but what's the Big Fat Greek Trailers experience at that location?
So the White Gallery has been there, I think, for about 2-3 years. They also own the property that's next to them right now, which is occupied as Ty's Roadhouse. So before Ty's Roadhouse, the owners, Joanna and Everett, had that as an event space for, bachelor parties, weddings, whatever the people wanted to do. So when was that? I think it was about a year and a half ago. Everett somehow found us, reached out to us and said, "Hey, we would love to have you guys here. We're having an event. We love your food. We wanted people to enjoy your food as well. If you guys want to come set up at that spot to serve." We went and served. It went well. We didn't really talk too much after that. And then COVID hit. Everett reached out to us. He said, "Hey guys, I would love we have the space out front of the gallery and the event space. If you guys would like to utilize that space, you're more than welcome to." So we took that opportunity to go ahead and park there. Of course, the first 2 weeks, we didn't get too much traction. People were just starting to get to know that we were there. And then, like David said, the restaurant started shutting down. People driving by or seeing us on Facebook, Instagram saw that we're there consistently. So we started getting even more traction. When we first started, we were doing Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I think we were just doing dinner actually at that time. We were just going there from 5 to 8 doing dinner. The demand for Saturday wasn't there. It wasn't too crazy, especially because the beaches were closed. So no one was really driving to work on Saturday or going to the beach Saturdays. So we said we're going to drop Saturday, and then the demand started up again Thursday and Friday, even for lunch, because people now, they started going out, they started working from different offices. Like a lot of people still, they're not going to their businesses anymore. They're still working from home. They still get lunch breaks, I'm sure. So now that we have a lunch and dinner, we've got a lot of people coming for lunch, and then we have another group of people coming for dinner as well.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know, whoa, I'm getting the gift. Running out of time, we removed the 40-minute time limit on your group meeting. Oh, thanks so much, Zoom.
Zoom with the hookup there.
Yeah. I love that. Thank God. And, obviously you talked about it a little bit earlier, David, but quality versus quantity. You said this quote: "We do pride ourselves at being the quickest, but sometimes you just have to slow things down. This is a crucial part of the Greek lifestyle." What things have you all slowed down with when it comes to your business?
Yeah, so the big thing that we've really slowed down is our souvlaki. So previously, we'd always want to turn the table, as in the restaurant, but we don't have tables. So, turn the ticket. So we wanted the ticket to be as quick as possible. So we would bake kind of more like 75%, bake our souvlaki, which isn't how it gets done in Greece, right? So souvlakis, for the most part, that's like the most famous Greek street food. It's literally just meat on a stick, and Greeks love that stuff. So in Greece, obviously they don't have an oven out on the street. So in order to kind of adapt it to what we were doing in the food truck, we decided in order to speed the process up for lunches like downtown and stuff like that, we were 75% baking our souvlaki, storing it cool, and then when that order came in, we were putting it on, reheating it up on the charbroiler, and it still had really good flavor and everything, but it wasn't how it was done in Greece, and we knew it could get better. So what was that? Maybe 3 weeks ago, to
add on to that, the only reason we were doing that was because we're a food truck. So we only have about 2 to 3 hours to serve. So we wanted to be as quick as possible about turning our tickets around, like he said.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So once we decided to kind of take a step back from the quantity version of it, because we can turn very quickly. The souvlaki though, we were turning very quickly, but we wanted to make it better. We wanted everybody to enjoy it rather than getting it and kind of enjoying it. So what we do now is we store it, we cut it up, marinate it, and it just sits in the marinade. We skewer it, so let it sit in the marinade, and then when that order comes in, it's raw, goes right on, and gets cooked right there. So it's about a 10-minute wait, but the difference between that oven baking to fully cooking it right there on the trailer is a world of difference. It just melts in your mouth now. Even just last night, I brought, so Pete is my future brother-in-law. I'm going to be marrying his sister. So I brought skewers home last night. She wanted some dinner. And this was the first time that she tried our skewers the new way. I haven't told you this yet.
Oh, she called me.
Oh, she called you? Yeah. She goes, by the time I got home, the food was gone because they had dropped it off. The food was gone. And I'm like, how are the skewers? She goes,
Right.
Oh my God. What did you guys do different? Because it's just
marinating.
Everything's the same. It's just the cooking way of it has changed to how it is in Greece. And it's a world of difference. But I think that little extra, because I mean, you were still waiting probably at least 4 or 5 minutes for souvlaki. That extra 5 minutes now is going to make it 100% worth it, because it's just so much flavor.
Yeah. People don't mind waiting, because when we're there, while we're waiting for the food to cook, we always interact with the customers, and they love doing that. You know, they love talking to us, learning about us, and learning about why we're doing this and how we started and whatnot. They don't mind waiting 10 minutes for their food to come out. They usually go to their, takes at least 5 minutes to go through a drive-through entries, you know. And that's the other thing. That's why we were baking it to begin with, and then finishing off on the trailer, was because we're not a sit-down place. We're at a trailer. We don't want people sitting outside waiting too long. You know, it gets cold. But now, even when it was cold, we would tell people, hey, your food might take a little longer. If you don't mind, you can go wait in your car and we'll bring it over to you. And people appreciated that. So they didn't mind waiting 10 minutes for the food to come out.
Oh, that's amazing. You guys go above and beyond. We love that. And what are those foods that you all are cooking now that are still a little difficult to cook? Still a little difficult to make?
Nothing really, honestly. We have another portion of our business that goes to farmers markets. The only one that's currently open right now is the Johns Island Farmers Market. The Mount Pleasant should be opening up, I think, in mid-March. My father goes to the kitchen and does our spanakopita, our moussaka, our pasticcio, all that stuff. But that's the most time-consuming food to make. And we have people that come to the trailer and they're like, oh, do you have any spanakopita? And we're like, no, we don't, because the only way we could store it on here is we had an oven, or we had, you know, a different way of cooking it on the trailer, but we don't have the room or the space to be able to store and cook other Greek cuisines, you know? So when they ask us that, we tell them you can pre-order. We have them in containers, but we bake them. We put them in containers and freeze them. They can pick it up, put it in the oven for about 30 to 40 minutes, and that's their lunch or dinner, you know, with a nice side salad. They love that. So nowadays we have people that come order food from us, and then they also pre-order for the next day to come get spanakopita, moussaka, or pasticcio, you know, to have dinner plans for the next day.
Yep.
Wow, that's amazing.
The other one item that we have dolmades, which are grape leaves, rice wrapped in grape leaves. And those are extremely time consuming to make. So that's something that we never did from day one. We never made those just because it is a huge time consumer. So that's something that we've always gotten imported from Greece and serve, just because we can't take up the time doing that.
Yeah, we put 6 to an order. So it would probably have taken us at least an hour just to make maybe 30 dolmades. So we'd be in the kitchen rolling every single day, all day.
Yeah.
But the good thing is our dolmades still come straight from Greece, so you still get the flavors and everything. But what makes our dolmades is our tzatziki. So
yes,
and that's time consuming is our tzatziki as well. Like you said, what takes too long. So every week we go through about 50 to 75 pounds of cucumbers. Most people that have a restaurant, they usually probably pre-purchase their tzatziki. We sit there, we peel our tzatziki, 50 to 75 pounds. We put it through a machine, we shred it up. It produces so much juice because it's a cucumber, so it's 90% and probably 99% water. We have to strain it out, drain all the juice out. We put all our mixes together. You know, that's the one thing that takes too long, like you said. And our skewers, of course, we have to sit there, cut our chicken, cut our pork up, marinate it, let it marinate, and then skewer it. So that's that's stuff that's time consuming, but it's not time consuming on the trailer itself. That's why we spend our Mondays deep cleaning our trailer and doing prep all day, so that we don't have to sit every single day going back to the kitchen doing prep and on all that stuff, you know.
And ironically, you said this too. In collaboration with Oak Road Brewery, we introduced you the first only cucumber beer in the Lowcountry. We've seen everything from cucumber water to cucumber lemonade, the cucumber mules, the cucumber mojitos, cucumber this, cucumber that, except cucumber beer. You say, why the hell not? Let me ask you this: why cucumber beer? Why now?
Yeah, so it really, as our production of the tzatziki picked up, I was just throwing away buckets of this cucumber juice. And I'm like, there's got to be something we can use this for. I know there's a lot of people that just drink the cucumber juice straight, and I tried it. It's not good. So I felt bad every single time I'm dumping this out. I'm like, we got to do something. So as we got into a partnership with Oak Road Brewery to serve there every second and fourth Tuesday, they said, well, why don't we create a beer that we can put on tap for when you guys are here? I said, okay. But the thing is, they said, okay, well, what goes well with a gyro? I said, both Peter and I looked at each other and we start going down the list of Greek beers that you would get with a gyro. So you got the Mythos, Alpha, Heineken, of course. Greeks love Heineken, and they're all lagers, and that's what Oak Road Brewery already does, is lagers. So we said, well, you're already making it pretty much what they would be drinking. So they said, well, what if we add some cucumber in it and kind of make it, refreshing in a tzatziki tie-in kind of way? And we looked and we're like, yeah, we could try that. So they took one of their beers. I gave them some of the gallons of cucumber juice that we go through. And they made it, and we had it 2 weeks ago for the first time, and it was very good, very refreshing. So
be that good, honestly.
Yeah, I was very, very skeptical that it was going to be a good beer, because I guess there has been other cucumber beers done here recently. Nobody's doing one right now, and but everybody has always said like the cucumber beers that they had weren't that good. And this one is really good, very refreshing.
Wow, that's so amazing. And if I were to go inside the trailer with you all, what can I expect to see inside the trailer?
So we have
headquarters,
5 different kinds of equipment. Yeah, right. Oh yeah. We have 5 different kinds of equipment. So we start off with our rotisseries. They're at about a 60-pound capacity per rotisserie, which produces 40,000 BTUs. So you can imagine in summertime, it gets extremely hot in there. We have 2 of those. Next to that, we have our charbroil, where we put our pitas on there, our souvlaki, our beefsteaki. And then next to that is our flat top, which we use usually to reheat our meat. And then, of course, next to it, we have our fryer that the only thing we fry is our French fries. Right. And then we have two prep sandwich tables, our chest freezer that we store just our French fries in, and that's about it.
Wow.
You have to come in there. We have to give you a tour of it, man.
Sure. Absolutely.
Don't come in. It's about 130 degrees in there summertime.
Ooh. Well, maybe I'll come by later this week or something.
Yeah.
Now's a good time to come.
It basically becomes a sauna that you get paid to be in.
Ooh. I would imagine so.
We have it, but it doesn't do anything in there. It just gets sucked up by the hood, and the only thing that helps us is fans. So we have fans that just circulate hot air pretty much. But if that wasn't the case, we'd probably be passing out in there.
A lot of water.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, that's essential indeed. Besides the cucumber beer, what else do you all want to concept or try or innovate next?
I don't know, really. We have our Greek dressing is really good. We have our Greek dressing and our tzatziki, which is they're both made in-house by us. So I think that's probably going to be the next 2 things that we really try to push and maybe try to get on shelves. We're not sure yet, but those 2 products are always available at our the market tent that sets up around town. And we have, since we only have one market going out right now on Johns Island, we have been previously set up at the Mount Pleasant Farmers Market. we have a lot of people coming to the trailer and asking for bottles of our dressing. This dressing is ridiculous. It's his dad's recipe, and I would assume probably a recipe from Greece, but this thing is very flavorful. We have people come up and they're like, I could just drink it. And it really is. It's got so much flavor that, I mean, it's almost a meal, not a meal in itself, but just so much flavor. It's very good. So that might be something. Our friend Hector, he's got a barbecue joint that he's going to be opening soon, Palmita Barbecue. So he's going to be focusing on brisket, and he was throwing out the idea of maybe doing a brisket gyro, but we don't like to dabble in things that aren't Greek, but that might be like a collaboration that we do more under the Palmita than the My Big Fat Greek trailer. So we don't know. We don't know what doors will open next for us, but we're always looking for innovative ways to really mix up our brand.
Absolutely. And, you know, I just, here again, I just love the obviously the gyro, I'm pronouncing it wrong, that you all gave me yesterday, and I really do enjoyed it, and it was magnificent. If you were to look at the menu right now, which one of those particular items describes both of you all?
The OG.
The OG. So the OG, we got this. We wanted to have a fun spin on everything, right? So in Greece, when you go and order a gyro, first off, they don't even ask you what type you want. It's you get a gyro and it's going to be pork. If you want chicken, you got to say, I want chicken. But if you ask for a gyro, you're going to get pork. So we were trying to tie in, like, what can we call this that gives homage to what is done in Greece? So the OG, those initials stand for original Greek. So you got the original Greek gyro, but then we also wanted to tie it into the fact that we are the first and still the only ones to do a pork gyro in really the entire state of South Carolina, and probably the majority of the Southeast. And that's where we got the OG from. Because Pete here, he's an OG, he's an original Greek. I'm going to be Greek soon, but as the fact remains, we will always be the OGs in the Greek or the pork gyro section of food and beverage. So it's a little fun play on words.
Oh, yes. I love it. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for your time. And thank you again for the gyro and the experience yesterday. I really do appreciate it. And thank you for coming on Quintin's Close-Ups.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime.